Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the Mast Flip from Dragonhawk. A couple months ago, I reviewed the Mast Lancer, and ever since then, a lot of people have been asking me about the Mast Flip. This company seems to come out with a new tattoo machine every couple months, and they are all budget-friendly tattoo machines, so I think that's why so many people are so interested in them. Speaking of budget, the Mast Flip is $179. A lot of people are viewing this as the budget Axys Valhalla. The Axys Valhalla is $590, so if this can stack up to the Valhalla, this is a really good budget-friendly option. And soon, I will be doing a machine comparison video between the Flip and the Valhalla. I do have some discount codes down in the description for Axys and Dragonhawk, so feel free to use those. My first impression when I first took the Flip out of the box, that for a budget-friendly machine, the build quality did feel really nice. I like how the stroke wheel is right on the top of the machine. It's easy to rotate with just a little bit of resistance in between the clicks. On the other hand, the grip is not very easy to turn when you're going to change your needle depth. Not only that, when you go to take the grip off, you really have to pull it in order to get it off. It's really snug on there, and the same when you go to put it back on. When you are going to change your needle depth when this machine is totally wrapped up, it is kind of difficult and annoying, so that's one thing that I would like to see changed in this, is just an easier and smoother click grip. Right when I got the machine in, I got a test cartridge, I plugged the machine in, and after I got done listening to what it sounds like and how it runs, I took the test cartridge out, and there was a big old glob of lube on the stem of the cartridge. Like I've said in the past, I love pen machines. I think they're really great to work with, but I hate when companies put lube on the push rod where it comes in contact with the stem of the cartridge. It's a cross-contamination hazard if you're not careful. Not only that, this machine doesn't give you any easy option to open up this machine and fully clean the inside of it. The housing and the push rod are not able to be fully and properly cleaned, especially with that lubrication up there. If you're not cleaning this properly and not handling your cartridges properly while you're tattooing, this can turn into quite the nasty germ trap. Moving on to some specs, the Mast Flip is 30 millimeters in diameter, 111 millimeters in length, and it weighs 173 grams. The reason I was attracted to this machine was because of the 7 variable strokes. The strokes that this machine is capable of is 2.6, 2.8, 3.0, 3.2, 3.5, 3.8, and 4 millimeters. The working voltages are anywhere from 5 to 12 volts. Ideally, I would like to see this machine with a longer stroke than 4 millimeters. Yes, all of those strokes, it does make it a very versatile machine, but maybe getting rid of the 2.8 and the 3.0 and replacing that with a 4.5, I think that would make this machine a lot more versatile and make it stand out from all the other variable stroke machines that are on the market today. Next, let's talk about noise and vibration. We'll go from 5 volts to 12 volts since that is its operating parameters. This is 5 volts at 4 millimeters. It's quiet. It does have a little bit of vibration, and when you go to the 2.6 millimeter stroke, it is quieter and it has less vibration. Let's jump up to 8 volts. This is the 2.6 millimeter stroke. It's still quiet, still low vibration. And then this is the 4.0 millimeter stroke. It's a little bit louder, a little bit more vibration. This is 12 volts at the 4 millimeter stroke. Definitely is quite loud and it has a little bit of vibration. Not too bad, but then this is the 2.6 millimeter stroke at 12 volts. It is quite loud at its higher voltage output, obviously because it's running harder, and it is not the lowest vibration machine. If you use this all day long, your hand kind of is able to feel that you were holding onto a vibrating machine all day. Up next, let's talk about if it's better wired or wireless. For me, I love wireless tattooing and the freedom that it brings, but once you put a battery on the top of this, it does get a little bit tall, unless you are using a battery that kind of hangs off the back of your machine. This is not so bad, but if you use the critical batteries, I do feel like it does make the machine a little bit too tall, and it made my wrist tire out a little bit quicker than normal. So for me, I will say that this machine is best with a wired connection just because of the way that this machine is balanced. Especially for longer sessions, a wired connection is definitely better for your wrist health. I'm used to tattooing with the Bishop wand with a critical battery on top of it, and you can see the difference between the Flip and the Bishop wand when it comes to the battery. The Flip is definitely taller, and it does kind of bring you a little bit more back weight, which can definitely tire your wrist out a lot quicker during the day. Next, bagability. The Flip is really easy to bag up like most other pen machines. Just throw the machine down a clipcord cover, tape the cover to itself to cover the machine tip, wrap the grip with some grip tape depending on how thick you like to have it, pop a hole in the clipcord cover for your cartridge, and plug your battery or RCA cable in the back, and you are all set. Next, let's talk about ease of cleaning. The Mast Flip is smooth and easy to wipe down on the outside. There's not a bunch of little dirt traps that you're gonna have to worry about cleaning out. But like I mentioned earlier, the Flip can be a cross-contamination hazard if you aren't handling your cartridges properly while you're tattooing, since you don't have that option to break down the machine fully and clean out up inside the machine, the push rod, and the housing. This is a big problem with a lot of pen machines in the tattooing industry, and I'd love to see this change in the future. To get around this, you just gotta make sure you're not touching the stems of your cartridges while you're tattooing. Not only that, when you're putting your cartridges on your station, you gotta make sure that they're not intermingling together to make sure that the tip of one isn't touching the stem of another. I was not able to find disposable grips for the Flip on their website. A couple months ago when I reviewed the Lancer, it came with a couple disposable grips, but they were in little weird Ziploc baggies that weren't even sealed. Anytime I have disposable grips, they're always in these blister packages that are sealed, and they have little blue dots or red dots on them that say that they're sterile. So if you are able to find disposable grips for the Flip, I don't know how much I trust them, since when I got disposable grips from them in the past, they were just in unsealed bags. Now, what everybody wants to know, is it good for lining? Is it good for shading? And should you buy this machine? First, let's talk about lining. The 4mm stroke offers a pretty hard hit when it comes to being able to sync one-pass lines. I was able to use everything from a 3-liner to a 14-liner, and I was able to get solid saturation. I will say though that the bigger groupings, you do have to move a little bit slower, because even though the 4mm stroke is a more powerful hit, it's not something that you're gonna be able to blast through a huge outline with a larger grouping. I would say where this machine really shines for lining is anywhere from a 3 to a 9-liner. So out of 2 thumbs up, I'd give the Flip 1 thumb up for lining. It's not great, it's not terrible, it gets the job done. If you're looking for a dedicated liner, I would look at the Bishop Wand liner. That definitely has a lot more punch to it than this. Next, let's talk about shading. With the 2.6 to the 4mm stroke, you have a lot of room for customization depending on how hard you want your machine to hit for what kind of style you're doing. You can do smooth gray shading, color packing, color blending, and everything in between with this machine. The one thing that I found that I wasn't a fan of with this machine was stipple shading. I felt like going like this all day really tired my wrist out with this machine. I think it has to do with the way that the machine is balanced to where there's a lot more back weight on it. And I'm used to something like the Wand liner to where there really is no back weight. And the final question, should you buy this machine? If you're looking for a budget all-arounder machine, I don't think that you would be disappointed with the Mast Flip. Even though it wasn't my favorite machine to work with when I was using a battery because of the quick wrist fatigue that sets in, also the very stiff grip when you're going to change your needle depth, and also the cross-contamination hazard. Despite all of those things, I do think that this machine has a place in the tattooing industry as a budget-friendly, versatile tattoo machine. If you're doing walk-ins all day or you just need a backup, budget-friendly, versatile machine, you will make your money back almost immediately with this machine. Now, I cannot speak for the motor's longevity, since I have only been using this machine for about a month, but for a machine that's under $200, I did definitely make my money back and more. So yeah, that's it. If you want to see me review any specific machine, feel free to comment it down below, and I'll try to get my hands on it for you. If not, I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you have a good day. Bye.